Dover International Speedway, site of round number 14 of 36 in the RSR Asphalt Assault Series, presented by Inside Sim Racing and Derek Spear Designs. The Monster Mile getting ready to dance with these competitors for 160 laps, and it's going to be an exciting race. I'm sure we're going to see a lot of fenders flying and possibly some tempers flying before the end of this one. Tim Terry and Dakota Ehrman in the booth, getting ready to call all the action for you as these drivers get ready for qualifying. We have Evan Pasoko and Travis Brown down on pit road. J.D. Webb and Laura Lawson in the production hauler, making sure we get on the air this evening and everything works smoothly. Dakota, speaking about smoothly, we had some green flag running last week at Charlotte, and we're looking for some more here. But we see with these, it's usually mile and under tracks, we see a few cautions, so these drivers might be setting up for a couple of short runs here this evening in a longer race, 160 laps.
Well, I'll tell you what, there are a lot of people that go to amusement parks and the roller coasters for, a thrill, but race car drivers, they come to Dover. I mean, this is where the thrill, that's like a roller coaster in itself. Dover is such an interesting racetrack, and I think, like you said, there may be a few cautions. This is one of those racetracks that you see if you see the wall really bite people. I mean, it just comes out of nowhere. It's definitely going to be an interesting night here tonight, Tim.
And when you look at those last week's results, we mentioned the Charlotte Motor Speedway, one of the longest races on the schedule for the RSR Asphalt Assault Series, and it was, as we did this week, I believe 160 laps for the night race number 13, and Bobby Terrell comes out with the win, and Bobby is one of those drivers that is more suited to short tracks. We see him excel at these racetracks. Dover might be one of those to watch this evening as well with the 7 car. Jose Gonzalez was second, Clint Monahan third, John Abbott and Matt Lacrosse completed your top 5, with CJ Levere, Stefan Marinek, your point leader, in position number 7, Doug Fleming, Ed Williams Jr. and Brian Harvey completing your top 10 from that race. And Dakota, we talked about points. It's a huge gap between first and second after Eric Brundys has missed the last 2 races, and we don't anticipate him back the rest of the season. So it looks like Marinek has a little bit of a bigger advantage coming into this week.
That he does. He actually finished 7th last week, but he is currently the points leader by 45 total points over CJ Levere. Matt Lacrosse, who actually I think we talked about, finished around the top 5, I want to say, currently sitting 3rd in the points, 60 out, but only 2 points behind him. Last week's winner, Bobby Terrell, sitting in that 4th position. Jose Gonzalez sitting in 5th. He's only 64 points out. Eric Brundys, 81 points at back, but again, like you said, don't think we'll see him the rest of the season. I do believe he is done. John Abbott sitting 7th, 109 points out. Rhett McBride 8th, he is 116 points out. Just 1 point behind him, though, is Clint Monahan, and just 1 point behind Clint Monahan, 2 points behind McBride. It's going to be Doug Roth, who generally drives the number 43 machine.
When you look at this Dover racetrack, Dakota, we talked about the banking dropping off from the banking to the straightaway. You look at the turns here. It's 24 degrees in the turns, 9 on the straightaways. This is a concrete jungle, essentially. All concrete around the racetrack. Essentially a larger cousin to the Bristol Motor Speedway. Lots of grip and lightning fast laps. And when there's a crash, it's hard to hide from it. There's no such thing as a soft crash here. Once the track gets blocked, it gets blocked, and there's really nowhere to go but to jam on your brakes and hope you don't hit the guy in front of you and hope the guy behind you doesn't run into you. And we talk about calamity corners. I think we're going to see it on the north end of the speedway here in 1 and 2. For some unknown reason, the drop into turn 1 feels like bungee jumping off a cliff. It's really strange to feel that car lose weight under you and then crash down on the suspension in the center of the corner. It's the same deal as coming off the corner. Turn 2 exit is going to be another one of those spots to watch, as will turn number 4, because the banking compared to these corners, we talked about that difference in there. There's 13 degrees difference in these corners from the straightaways. So once you go into the corner, you really go into the corner. Once you come out of the corner, you essentially fall down out of the corner, especially if you're on that high side. Low side going to be the place to be this evening, Dakota. But it's a really different racetrack compared to what we're used to, or at least what we saw last week at Charlotte.
Yeah, this is definitely a racetrack where you have to be committed. You have to, really want to throw yourself into the corners and be ready to throw yourself into the corner, or else you're not going to be very fast here. And that's just how Dover always has been. It's got to be one of my favorite tracks to come to and watch people, race at. It's just so much fun. But when we move to the ETV Dover pre-race briefing, the comers here tonight going to be John Abbott has three straight top 5 finishes. Brian Harvey has 3 straight top 10 finishes, and Ed Williams Jr. Has finished 9th in both his starts.
And let's bring our pit road reporters in this evening. We'll begin with Evan Pasoko. Evan, we've seen these drivers qualify here. Looks like we're going to have a field of 30 drivers, so a healthy field of drivers getting ready to go green. And it looks like at this point, with about 4 minutes left in the qualifying session, these guys in their drivers meeting, it looks like CJ LeVere and Chad Cole making a start in this series, going to start on the outside. What are these drivers saying on pit road, Evan?
And that's exactly it. They seem to have their cars dialed in. We've been talking to the crew chiefs before the race down here, and they're saying that the cars are a little bit tight, so watch for the race cars to be pushing up on this racetrack. And another interesting thing is, down here at the entrance of pit road, you almost need to enter in the middle of turns 3 and 4, so it could get real tight if we have any green flag pit stops slowing down when other drivers are diving it down to turn 3.
I'll tell you what, also wanted to mention the goers here tonight in the pre-race briefing that Jimmy North hasn't finished the top 25 in nearly 2 months here. So he definitely has got to step up his game in the 84 crew. Rhett McBride has only 1 top 10 in the last 4 races. Glenn Campbell, his last 2 finishes are 24th and 35th. Those are your goers. Glenn Campbell has got to really step it up, Jimmy North and Rhett McBride. And tell you what, as we work just about, I want to say about 3 minutes left in the practice session here, and Evan Pasoka joining me currently in the broadcast booth for just a moment. We're just about 2 minutes away from the national anthem getting set for a lot of racing. 160 laps is definitely not a long time here, so lap times really click off. They're really, really quick here. Looking at qualifying, just lap times around 23.6s. These guys are flying.
And that's right, and the anticipation on pit road is it's going to be a long night with cautions. And not that it's the bad racing, but these small racetracks, the racing's just so tight. And we were talking to the crews over the wall, seeing what their strategy are for pit road. And pit road's really going to be key when they come down under a yellow flag, because you really can gain some positions if you have a real clean pit stop. And I don't think we're going to have many green flag stops. So the teams are going to have their hammers ready to fix that bent sheet metal. And it's going to be a bumping and racing night, definitely. That's what everyone's talking about.
Definitely here, so we're just about a minute away from the national anthem. But I don't know, I just kind of like lost my train of thought here, Evan. I had a question for you.
Well, like we mentioned earlier, I've been just kind of roaming around pit road. I had to run up here real quick to talk to you guys. Crew chiefs are really talking about tight race cars, and they also said it's nearly impossible to pass on the high side. So they're going to be telling their drivers, you have to be aggressive, especially if you don't qualify at the front of the field. You're really going to have to use that bump and run strategy, dive it down low, because they're saying that with these tight cars and the way this racetrack is, it's going to be very difficult, if not impossible, to pass on the high side. So you got to watch for the bump and run here.
It's now time to go ahead and go down trackside for the national anthem sung by the Cactus Cuties.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly.
We are getting ready to go racing at the Dover Raceway. Dover Speedway. We want to thank the Cactus Cuties and the Virtual Thunderbirds there for the flyover as well. Getting ready to go racing this evening. So we are getting ready to grid here in just a few moments' time. Dakota, CJ LeVere, and Chad Cole going to start on the front row of this race. It looks like
or the
Cars are gritting now, getting ready to go racing, and I apologize for that, the Cactus Cuties. I'm going to have to make it up to them somehow. CJ Lavere, Chad Cole on your front row. In Dakota, Chad Cole is one of those drivers that comes in as a relief driver, and he's one of those super subs, I guess we can call him. We'll see what he can do this evening.
Definitely, he really performs very well. Actually won last Monday night at Charlotte in the Real Sim Racing Full Throttle Cup Series, which you can check out at 9:30 p.m. On Monday nights. Rhett McBride going to roll off third in his 15 machine with the 7 of Bobby Terrell, last week's winner, rolling off fourth. They make up row number 2.
Guy that's really on a hot streak these last couple of weeks, it's John Abbott in the 10 on the inside, starting in position number 5 to the outside, 26, Jose Gonzalez.
Brian Harvey going to roll off in 7th on his 67 machine. Stefan Marinak on his outside in the 24 machine. That's the points leader. They make up row number 4.
Glenn Campbell and Bo McGuire complete your top 10, 9th and 10th, 44 and 50.
11th and 12th, row number 6, the 33 of David Lanza, and the 27 is Aaron Watkins.
We got Mark Bratcher in car number 38, starting in position number 13, and to the outside, 88 is Adam Roberts.
Row number 8 is going to consist of the 65 of Ed Williams Jr. and the 84 of Jimmy North.
Doug Roth begins position number 17 in the 43, and Doug Fleming will start the 28th from 18.
Row number 10 is going to consist of the 85 of Nathan Bowers, the 71 of Keith Brooks Jr.
Just outside your top 20, Scott Brotherton in the 2, and one driver we're not used to seeing this far back, Matt Lacrosse in the 21.
Steve Almendo going to roll off 23rd in the 81 machine with the 69 of Augusto Gabaldoni rolling off 24th.
25th and 26th, see the 11 and 12, Josh Cheney and Douglas Wyatt.
Joey Hilton rolling off 27th and John Wilco 28th.
Completing your field of 31 starters, it's Steve Herring, Frank Coons, and John Ellers, 31 strong, getting ready to take the green flag. It's 160 laps. Strap in. We are getting ready to go racing here on ETV Live, powered by the HD Radio Network. And CJ Lavere and Chad Cole going to start it from the front row of this race. 160 laps, long way to go. I'm sure we're going to see a couple of cautions. Pit road going to be a very busy place. Evan and Travis are down there getting ready. 4 is in command of the field. Pace car is in, and CJ Lavere is gone into 4. Green flag flies, and we're underway for the first of 160 laps. Watch the 15 on the inside of position number 3. He's looking at the 1 of Chad Cole off the hop.
It looks like Chad Cole had the preferred lane into the corner. He's going to carry a lot of momentum through. The 15 going to fall off the bumper of the 1, and he falls back quite a bit now as the 1 car actually gapped the 15 there. That was Cole to McBride, and then you have Terrell sitting back there right behind McBride. Behind them, though, just a few positions back, you look at the 10 to 24. That's Abbott Marinak. They're going side by side. Marinak being the points leader, and don't forget Jose Gonzalez. He's in this group as well.
It looked like Gonzalez off corner number 2 on lap number 1 wanted to make it 3 wide. It was tempting to make it 3 wide. Maybe a move to make on 145, but lap number 1, probably not a smart idea, Dakota. He pulled out, and now he has the 10 and the 24, and the 24 is running away from him right now. And Stefan Marinak, he's got John Abbott just in front of him, Jose Gonzalez, maybe being a little bit conservative here early in this race.
I would say a little conservative here as he's trying to give some room to the 10 car, which you really have to be conservative of is, making sure these cars don't hit that apron. If these guys get on the apron, you're going to see a lot of trouble, and that's where you'll generally see the problems. It's either going to be catching the outside wall or getting that apron and knocking the cars sideways here.
Looks like these drivers really setting into a rhythm right now. The 4 of CJ Lavere, though, is under fire from Chad Cole in the number 1. Down the back straightaway, we work on lap number 4 of 160. Little bit of a gap between 2nd and 3rd. Rhett McBride and Bobby Terrell are doing a 2-car dance for position number 3 as Chad Cole seems to get a great run out of these corners. CJ Lavere, I don't know if he's saving anything or not, or Chad Cole's just trying to make him push it a little bit harder.
You gotta wonder, it looks like the 4 is kind of pushing up off the turns just a little bit, and that's really hurting his run off of the corner. It's just making him so tired. He might be using a little bit more throttle than what he needs to. You see the 1 really just a little bit lower than what he is to most of the corner. I mean, just a quarter of his car is like down a little lower, and that's enough to help him turn. Maybe he's in the groove a little more, I don't know, but the 4 car could be overdriving here actually.
And the 1 behind, it's now about a car length or so, is the 1 flirted with the wall off corner number 2. The number 1 car driven by Chad Cole this evening, looking to pick up the lead position here early, but CJ Levere currently second in points. He's doing what he has to do, Dakota. Get out front, lead the most laps of this race, or at least lead some laps in this race, and hope for a mistake out of Stefan Marinek. We saw last week where Marinek was at the back of the field for a little while. He rebounds for position number 7. So it's hard to force a mistake out of a guy that's pretty much been perfect all season long, but CJ Levere has to do what he has to do to hold up his end of the deal to try to close in on this championship.
Yeah, but he has a lot of company behind him. The one machine, the guy who won in Charlotte last week in the OCR, or not, what am I talking about? Real Sim Racing Full Throttle Cup Series. Cole, that was Chad Cole. He actually won this event last season and only led 20 laps. So Chad Cole, I mean, he knows how to get it done at Dover. He's done it at a very few amount of laps led too, and he actually started 16th in that race. So I'd be really concerned with that one. You get the Ford's going to make sure he does not burn up his tires, doesn't make much of a mistake. And while he's hoping for Marinek to make a mistake, he cannot put his focus on Marinek. He's got to keep his focus on the track right now, what's going on in front of him, and get the best finish he can, or else he might get too consumed in trying to make sure he's just beating the 24. It might not get all he can get.
It's single file racing throughout about your top 15 first half of the field or so. 44 of Glenn Campbell underneath the number 67 of Brian Harvey at position number 8, and he couldn't get the run in there, or it looked like he couldn't get the car to stick down into corner number 1 as he dropped into the banking. In corner number 1 as the 67 gets the wall in the back straightaway, it closes in. Dave Lanza, Bo Maguire, and Mark Bratcher. We're used to seeing Bratcher in car 00, so a little bit of a change for Bratcher at the rear of this little 5-car pack being led up by Brian Harvey. But it looks like Glenn Campbell and a lot of these drivers, for that matter, Dakota, being conservative right now. They don't want to be that guy that upsets the apple cart and brings out our first caution as the 44 flashes the nose again in the 67. Can he make the move underneath? 67 going to give him some room, and Brian Harvey to the outside. He's going to lose at least one spot here.
Well, if you remember when we talked at the beginning of the show, the 44 car, that's Glenn Campbell. We talked about him being a goer here tonight. He's one of those guys that really has to pick up his game. He hasn't had much of a good last few races, and right now is the time where you got to get going. You got to get the momentum on your side if you're going to get a top 10 of points. Right now, it looks like the 33 let him in line. The 33 could have stayed underneath him, those two being teammates. I think the 33 gave him a little bit of room there, but those two working together, taking over the position there, so he'll be up to 8th with Dave Lanza moving up into the 9th position here.
So Brian Harvey falls back 4 spots, and you can see that they're checked at 3 spots. And you see what that high side does, albeit these drivers I don't think are pushing it as hard because it is a long race and we're not even a 10th through this race yet. But Brian Harvey on the outside line loses a few positions. He falls back to outside the top 10 in position number 11. He might lose one more here too as Mark Bratcher is closing in. And for the spot back up front, though, it looks like the third place driver all by himself right now. I do not see Rhett McBride up here because he's fallen back a few spots. Dakota, I didn't catch what happened, but he was racing with Bobby Terrell, and now he's back here with this Glenn Campbell battle.
And, I'm trying to go figure out exactly what happened. I mean, he lost a lot of spots and a lot of time. I mean, he was... and as I'm looking at this, it looks like he just kind of fell off of the guy in front of him. He wasn't running quite the lap times that the guy in front of him was. He fell back to the 24. The 24 got to his bumper. I mean, it kind of gradually, he got run down, it looks like. I don't know whether he just wasn't ready for a long run or what, but it seems that maybe the 15 wore his stuff out. He got run down by the 24. 24, I believe, got on his bumper to the back straightaway on lap 12 and might have moved the 15 out of the way, or just they almost made contact. Looks like the 15 got a little sideways, but all right. 24 shot to the inside, made the pass, and the 15 was just stuck on the outside.
Swap for the lead. The 1 goes around the 4 for the first time. He gets on the apron in corner number 4. No harm, no foul, but the 4 is going to try something here, I do believe, going into 1. No, he's going to let the 1 car have it. That was close with the 1 car, Chad Cole, clipping the apron in corner number 4. But he goes to the lead for the first time this evening. First lead change on lap number 16 as the 7 of Bobby Terrell closes in as those two drivers went at it. And just to close the point here on Rhett McBride right now, he's back there in position, I believe, back behind Dave Lanza. So that would be position number 9 right now. He's got 3 drivers behind him battling for a spot, as well as Bo Maguire begins to move in the number 50 car. So Rhett McBride was up in your top 4. He's back to position number 9 right now as Chad Cole begins to extend his lead by about 2 car lengths over the 4 car, CJ Levere.
Yeah, the biggest concern that CJ Rivera can have right now, I know the 7's coming in his bumper. I don't think that's the biggest concern he has. You know, Terrell did win last week, but CJ Rivera, his big concern is going to be that 24 car is just in 4th position. That's only 2 positions between the two, and the 24 looks like he's actually gone by a few cars. He actually used the outside at the beginning of the race to make up a position. I don't want that 24 behind me or even close to me if I'm that 4 car, especially the way he's trying to run him down in points. So it's definitely the 4 car cannot afford to lose a whole lot of spots, and he can't be worried about the 7 right now.
Bobby Terrell closes in on the 4 of CJ Rivera. We are going to step away for just a few moments' time. We are clean and green, knock on wood, through 20 laps of the 160 for the RSR Asphalt Assault Series. Don't go away.
It's time for those most famous words in motorsports. Drivers, start your engines!
Michael Conti comes up at a corner number 4, and the checkered flag, he wins his first Asphalt highlight. Welcome back to Dover and round number 14 of 36 in the RSR Asphalt Assault Series presented by Inside Sim Racing and Derek Spear Designs. We are still green through those 26 laps, Dakota, about to be completed here. And Chad Cole has extended that lead over CJ Rivera. They did catch a little bit of lap traffic in those last few laps. The 48 of Frank Coons and the 09 of John Ellers are now 1 lap down. 2-year leader, 29 drivers still on the lead lap as we work down the back straightaway with your top 2, the 1, 4, and 7, and it looks like the 7 a little bit closer to the 4, Dakota, but considering when we went to break at lap 20, those guys were nose to tail. They're nose to tail, but there's about a half second between them now.
And I'll tell you what, I actually think that the 1 car might be getting run. He was run down just a little bit, just about 2 laps ago by the 4. Then the 4 lost a little bit of time. The 4 was just about, I don't know, he had about a 0.3 of a second gap. Now it's up to 4. It was up to 5, though. The 7 and the 4 kind of going back and forth, I want to say, with lap times. The 7's not falling too far back, though. I think the 7 actually might be catching him at this point to come across the line with the scoring updated. Actually, the 4 actually making up some time on Chad Cole and the 7, it looked like.
I know our guys are down on pit road. Evan Pasoko has been doing a lot of number crunching here this evening. Evan, did these guys, number 1, anticipate a long green flag run? And number 2, if we go green to a pit stop, how long can these guys go on fuel and tires?
Well, they were definitely not expecting this long green flag run like we've seen, and you guys did mention it earlier in the broadcast, that they're kind of laying back. So we're obviously going to see these guys get pretty crazy as it goes later in the race. As far as pit stops wise, that's what everyone's calculating. Now the teams are all thrown off. Some guys even made setups to favor the short run. So given another 30 or so laps, we'll start seeing cars start to crunch the numbers, see when they're going to come in, probably put 4 fresh tires on it because at these short racetracks, grip is everything, especially with these big, wide turns.
When you look at this racetrack, Dakota, you see 3 drivers right now, 1 lap down. You see 2 drivers just in front, 3 drivers, check that, just in front of your leader, Douglas Wyatt, John Wilco, and Augusto Gabaldoni. Herring just went a lap down. If you're a driver that's really struggling here this evening, you're hoping for that caution, especially if you're Stephen Herring, to get that lucky dog.
But the one thing you don't want is the caution to be right in front of you, because that's going to be trouble if you can't get on the brakes. If you get on the brakes too hard, first off, you might lock up the brakes, maybe spin the car around. If you, as I'm seeing the 48 off the pace, as I don't think he's the only one. Looks like the 89 might also be having some problems. He just lost a spot. Looks like he's losing a lot of time. It's a 69 of... yeah, somebody in the backstretch, though, as caution flies.
So the 1 and the 4 should back it down here, and the caution will come out for the first time this evening. The 09, John Ellers, is limping around on the back straightaway. Dakota, what put the 09 around to bring out this first caution?
Well, it was the 09 car, John Ellers, position number 30, lap 31 off of, I do believe, turn number 2, sorry there, but he comes off the corner and just, I don't know, it looks like he's really slow off the corner, gets the wall a little bit, and then gets a little bit of the contact from the 81. 81 really had nowhere to go, kind of got in the back of him. Ellers just ends up sliding into the inside wall, kind of gets stuck there for just a few seconds before he drives away.
So our first caution here on lap number 34. Quick pace to this race so far. First 33 laps run in just under 14 minutes. Chad Cole, CJ Levere, Bobby Terrell, Stefan Marinek, and John Abbott. Your top 5. Lanza, Gonzalez, Campbell, McGuire, and Bratcher complete your top 10. As we get ready to see pit stops for the first time this evening, Chad Cole going to lead this field down in the Hippies Paint Shop number 1. We'll see what these drivers do here as the first time they've been on pit road here, Evan. I'm sure they're crying, as you mentioned, for a little more grip. I think we'll see some tires being changed here.
And that's definitely the idea, is they're going to bring them down pit road here. 4 tires for most of the cars, maybe slight adjustments. They're trying to loosen up that rear end, try to get more drive in the center of the corner, because you're going to slide way up to the wall on the exit to get as much speed as possible. So pretty much track bar, wedge adjustments for all your drivers.
Yeah, expecting to see 4 tires as well. Maybe a couple guys in the back trying a little strategy here and doing 2 tires, but for the most part we were expecting to see the top 10 listening to their radios take 4 tires here. We had the 69 car stay out, so a little strategy here for the 69 team. Hoping for a quick caution, maybe get on sequence with these guys using a little strategy.
Thank you, Travis. It looks like the 4 is going to win the race off pit road in just over 10 seconds, or 10 seconds and change on that pit stop. Dakota, that was lightning quick, and that will get you the lead position.
And that's where your crew gets the payday, the advance, the raise, whatever you want to call it there. The 4 team, definitely, the way they were so quick on pit road, that's something you don't often see, and that's something you want to have in a pit crew, speed like that.
It looks like Dave Lanza as well going to pick up 1 spot on pit road with the 33 car. So watch the 33. He's been streaky a little bit in the sense, Dakota, that he'll run strong in the first half, first 3/4 of the race, and then it seems like he falls off the horse a little bit. And where he was running, whether it is the top 5 or maybe in the top 10, he doesn't finish there. It's trying to close the deal for this 33 team. It's really tough to do, it seems like, especially with all this competition. But then, again, we see Dave Lanza once again in the top 5. It's early in the race. We'll see if he can put it together over the next 124 laps or so to finish this thing.
Tell you what, this David Lanza guy, he is fast. Don't let him fool you here. Especially in the 1.5 miles. I think that's where he really shines. I got to see him do a lot of work on the 1.5 miles, and he is really, really quick. You just gotta get to 33 in a short run. I think that's where they really are outstanding on that team and on that car. It just these races are a lot longer than short runs. 160 laps here, 36 laps in. He's been kind of slowly coming up to the field. I think this could be a day, this could be a track for him that he can turn his luck around, but he does have to stay up there, which is a whole other thing. He did gain a spot on pit road, and that's what you want to see, especially as a driver.
And he picked up that spot on John Abbott just behind him in the 10 car. And another driver, when I came onto this series about 5 races ago, Dakota, it seemed like Abbott was outside the top 10 as we get ready to go racing. We're doubled up now. The 10 car was outside the top 10 in points, and albeit early in the season, he's really clawed his way up. He's really made these top 5, top 10 runs, and Abbott right now sits in position 7 in the standings, 109 points behind, but don't let that number fool you. He's just over 60 points out of Eric Brundy's, so he should be able to pick up that with the 20 points or so that's in between those two drivers, and of course with Brundy's not here. But then there's a little bit of a gap of about 50 points or so between himself and the top 5. Does he have what it takes to get there? I think he does. It's just a matter of continuing this streak of finishes that John Abbott is on. We get ready for our first restart of this race with CJ Laver, Chad Cole, Bobby Terrell, Stefan Marinek, and Dave Lanza, your top 5. Abbott, Bratcher, Roberts, McBride, and Harvey complete your top 10 as the first Racing Ford Mustang pace car is in. When does the 4 car decide to go this time? He waited until they were almost at a 4 at that line right there, and he does it just as he did on the first start of the race. Green flag flies, he goes to the line in 4, and he is gone. Chad Cole sleeping on the outside. Bobby Terrell looking at position number 2 in the 24 car. In turn, looking at Terrell, and he almost went to the inside there where there was no inside line.
Yeah, if it was somebody that wasn't sleeping, it was a 7 car. Terrell, he was right almost to the inside. The 1 car just wasn't quite able to get there. He falls back, loses a few car lengths to that 1 car. Then behind him, the 24 car all over his bumper, not really giving him a whole lot of room, really looking for any chance he can get to get underneath the 7 car. And this is really what the 4 car wants to see. First off, he wants to see these cars back here battle so he can pull away a little bit. And again, the guy he's chasing the points is that 24 car. He does not want to see that 4 in his, or the 24 in his bumper. So I mean, as long as the 24 is back here battling, he's able to drive away just a little bit further.
The 1 car may have been sleeping on that restart, but he is now there on CJ Laver, has closed in the gap that he had 2 laps ago, and now pressuring the number 4 car for the lead position as they come up at a corner number 2, and the caution flag will fly for the second time this evening.
Yeah, caution flies for the 40 car, actually, I do believe. Joey Hilton, position number 22, lap 40, just across the start-finish line, and he went barrel rolling, actually, as he works off of turn number 4. Maybe gets close to the apron, slows down. He had checked up a little bit or something, so he wasn't running over the guy in front of him, and just got run into from behind by the 2 car. The driver of the number 2 car is Scott Brotherton. Brotherton just kind of wasn't really expecting him to be checked up or something, I guess, and gets in the back of him just a little bit. We'll turn the 40 car around. 40 car gets to the inside wall and goes barrel rolling.
Tough break for Joey Hilton, and we mentioned comers and goers off the top. He's another one of those drivers that just can't really seem to catch a break in this series, and it looks like he's going to have a lot of heavy damage to that race car. He'll have to come onto pit road, and it doesn't look like it's smoking from this point, Dakota. He might be able to finish this race, but he'll likely be at least a couple laps down. CJ Laver's flirting with pit road, but they were on about 4 laps ago. I don't think they're going to come down. A couple of those drivers throw some fakes. Top 5 stay out on the racetrack. First driver to be in is still, we're looking outside the top 12, top 15. Looks like all your lead lap cars coming onto pit road all the way back to Ed Williams Jr. Ed Williams Jr. at 19th comes onto pit road.
He does in his 65 ETV Live machine, and I think he's coming down to Evan Pasoko, and I'm not really sure what's going on in the 11 car. Also down, that's Josh Shaney, I do believe, Evan.
And that's right, most cars coming down. You said Ed Williams Jr., first car to bring him down. He was in 19th position at the time. They're going to come down to figure out the back of the pack, just freshen up those tires to see if we consistently have a bunch of cautions, if they can get on a separate fuel and tire run as opposed to your leaders. Travis, you got anything?
Looks like all the cars on pit road right now took 4 tires that I'm seeing. Looks like we got top 3 will be the 65, the 11, and I can't get a number on that car. It's going to be a close race for second off pit road, 3 wide, but looks like the 71 car got them beat.
Close little race off pit road there, Dakota, between the 44s back there too. When we talked about Glenn Campbell coming and going in Dakota, I think he really needs to go and get to the front of this field and pick up a good finish.
Yeah, I do believe he is a goer tonight. He's one of the guys that's been having a lot of bad luck lately, as George would put it, when he gets all this together for us. Glenn Campbell's last two finishes are 24th and 35th. Currently, he runs on the racetrack around 22nd position, depending on where he's at when scoring updates after the pit stop. I believe he might have lost a spot or two there. So 44 car not really having the best run right now. After starting from the 9th position, remember I was talking earlier about the 44 car was actually working with the 33. They've been moving up through the traffic just a little bit. Now the 33 currently runs, and where'd the 33 go? He's back to 11th after us. If you remember us talking about him being about 5th. All the way back to 11th it appears, as Marinak has also fallen back to 8th. A few cars falling back here.
And talking about our partners that put on this series, of course, we do want to thank Sean and Darren at Inside Sim Racing for helping us put on this event this evening. And they are sponsoring this series throughout the 2013 season. Your first and best choice for all news and reviews in online motorsports. Join Darren and Sean for the latest and greatest in product reviews, simulation, auto racing games for PC, and the Xbox crowd, from steering wheels to full-size rigs, button boxes, any piece that you would need for your sim racing rig, updates on popular racing games, and a whole lot more. The yellow pages of online auto racing. Inside Sim Racing has it all. Visit them at isrtv.com. A great place to go for all that updated news and information, and especially, Dakota, if you're new to a sim or you're new to a game, that's one of the best places to go for Inside Sim Racing, because they give you a little bit of that insight that you might not know if you're just joining up with the community.
Even if you're new to anything, I mean, if you're new to all this, really the best place to go. Inside Sim Racing, they have it all.
So it looks like we are doubled up and ready to go green. CJ Levere once again leads, but Chad Cole seems like at this point in the race, Dakota, he might have just a little bit more than that 4 car, but the 4 car has something the 1 car doesn't. That's track position.
Yeah, and he's got something to go for. The 1 car, I do believe that is Chad Cole subbing for Clint Monahan. So the 1 car doesn't really have anything. He wants to get maybe a top 5, wants to go out for the win for when he shows up. But the 4 car, he really has something to be a reason to be here. He is second in points. He's trying to chase down the points leader. He knows he has to win races. He knows he has to have top 5s, and really wants to beat Chad Cole. And I think that's the determination that's going to keep him in front of that 1 car here.
Pace car going to dive, and the 4 car waiting for the line. There's the line right there, and we are still waiting. 4 car brings him down a little slower this time. Green flag flies, and almost a checkup around the 81 car of Almindo as they get it straight again, and going into corner number 1, they funnel into the first corner. Looks like your top 5 or so have made it through here, Dakota. The battle is for position number 3 is Terrell down to the extreme inside, looking to clear Marinak. Marinak going to let him have it.
It looks like Terrell actually had to dive it in pretty deep into turn number 3, but he's going to take the spot. 24 falls in line and tries to chase him down the front straightaway here in his 24 machine. Behind him, Lanza. And his 33 machine leading the 10 and the 38. That's the 10 of Abbott. And we talked about Pratcher. He was sneaking up in this group a little earlier. Now up to 7th position. He really has a solid run going today as he's on the bumper of the 10 machine, just looking for that hole to get underneath him as the 33 drives away. As we had just talked about, the 33 falling back a few positions, I do believe, as it was what I saw in my scoring. And he's back up there in front of the 10 car.
And when you look at these guys battling for the spots, it looks like they're about your top 10 or so. It's gotten straightened out, but maybe we can get a camera on the 50 of Beau McGuire, because he just went from the top of the racetrack to the bottom of the racetrack and made up a couple of positions. But that's really what we're seeing here, Dakota, especially outside about your top 12 or so, and even 12th place getting at it right now with the 67 and the 43 and the 26 cars. It seems like your top 10 or so get it single file because they want to get some green flag racing in. These other guys back here think, oh, well, I'm faster than that other guy. I can pick up the position now if I really want to. As the 88 car is moving up through the field on the 81. 81 falls back 2 and now looks at the 2 of Brotherton for position number 14. This is the opportunity that they're looking for. Everybody's bunched up together. and they think they're Superman. They got that cape on. They can make up these positions as everybody's tightened up.
Well, that would be the perfect opportunity to do it, as long as you don't get caught in an accident there. You saw the 81 just a few laps ago actually clipped the apron, lost some time to the 2 as the 43 having troubles. He almost gets the outside wall, then nearly collects the 2. They almost make contact now side by side back here. 43 and 2. 2 almost pushes up the racetrack. He keeps it down. 81 to his bumper, 85 to his bumper. We're just a train of cars here, inside and outside.
And it wasn't if he got the wall. He got the wall at a corner number 4 on the front straightaway. Just as he came off the corner, Dakota, it looked like it just got up into that wall as soon as he got off the corner, and cars were coming, and they're still coming. 81 of Almindo to the inside. The 50 car of Beau Maguire. The 85 of Bowers also in this lineup here. As the 50 car goes to the outside, they're not sure what was behind that. If I was the 85, I'd be trying to jump to the inside there. But the 50 of Beau Maguire takes that spot, and the 85 and the 43 is in the fence again off corner number 4. It doesn't matter how many times you hit that and try to push it out. That wall is not going to give.
Yeah, I don't think that wall is going anywhere, and Spotter might want to tell it to 43 as he gets it again. I think that's nearly the same spot he got it last time there, Tim.
Yeah, he's got it off 4 and he's got it off 2. He's hit corner number 4 wall, or the front straightaway wall here, a couple of times in the last 3 or 4 laps, and he almost got it again coming off of corner number 4. And he's hitting it at the exact same place when they come up off the corner. So I'm sure the 43 car screaming for tires, maybe screaming for grip, trying to get something adjusted on that race car, as I believe he may have papered it off corner number 2 that last time by. CJ Laver, Chad Cole, Bobby Terrell, top 3 up front. They haven't changed.
You gotta wonder if it's crew chief Spotter or anybody has actually told him this is the Monster Mile. This is how this racetrack is. You gotta be careful, as he was struggling. He's not really been close to the wall, but he was by himself. Now the 71 of Keith Brooks Jr. has caught that 43 machine, and it looks like he'll get close to the wall again, but he might get stuck on the outside once again, and that's really where you don't want to see the 43, where he doesn't want to see himself as he gets the apron actually heading into turn number 3 there. But they might have fixed their problem, as they seem to be single file. As I say that, the 71 runs down the 43 and throws it down side by side here.
71 going to pick up that spot, and here comes the 44 on the 65. It looks like Glenn Campbell going to pick up a spot on Ed Williams Jr. Now he chases down the 43, and the 43 this evening is involved in a 4-way dance for position 8 in the standings. Rhett McBride, Clint Monahan, who the one car is driving for this evening as the 44, looks underneath that 43, who is 10th in points right now. It's 1 point between 8th and 9th and 1 point between 9th and 10th. I do not see Wyatt Wolf Jr. here, and I do not see his car number in the field, so he might be losing position number 11 in the standings, but still a 3-way battle here, Dakota, for position number 8 in the standings, and currently Doug Roth is losing ground to the other 2 drivers he is chasing.
Yeah, the wall's really not helping him there, as he has a lot of company now from the 62 and 26 position of John Wilco. Wilco kind of all over the bumper of the 43. He's actually a little bit faster than the 43, but you see him getting off the throttle quite a bit, trying to give the 43 a lot of room here. Definitely does not want to get in the back of him here. The 43 goes to the outside, lets the 62 go. 62 definitely just going to take that going through turns 3 and 4. 43 tries to follow now. So yeah, 43 losing a lot of spots on the racetrack. He's losing some valuable points that he definitely does not want to lose. I think we might see him play the strategy a little bit later on. He's definitely going to have to if he wants to make up any time. Just see they go past the 40 car, who actually went flipping a few times earlier. So he's definitely really damaged and off the pace here.
Trying to gain any position that he can, and waiting for some drivers to fall out, and I'm sure he's hoping for a couple of quick yellow flags for that to happen. But CJ Laver, Chad Cole, all the way back actually to about 5th place right now. They've separated themselves from each other, and then there's a couple of close battles back there around 15th place or so. I see the 85 of Bowers and Jimmy North going at it, the 85-84 for position number 15, and it looked like the 84 of Jimmy North was going to push the 85 into corner number 1. Instead of trying to take that position, he backs off a little bit, and now he'll look again at car number 85 for the position, but nothing doing there right now as we close into complete lap 60. We have 100 laps to go with Dover.
There's one way you can look at it as a driver here, Tim, and that's either I'm going to bump draft you through the corners if you don't get out of my way, or I'm going to try to find a way to pass you. And obviously Jimmy North may be looking for that I'm going to bump draft you mentality. Maybe tired of sitting behind the 85 here. As the 85 clipped the apron. 84 going to make a huge run on the 85. Almost jumps to the inside. Looks like he does jump to the inside. Had to check up quite a bit. 85 gives him plenty of room. 84 takes the spot.
84, Jimmy North picks up position number 15, and that now puts him one spot ahead from where he qualified in this race. He qualified 16th and currently running 15th. Last season in this race, he started in 3rd and finished in 6th. It just goes to show how the competition level in this Asphalt Assault Series has really escalated. We have a great field of drivers here. Jimmy North is a great driver as well, but he's going to have to get up on the wheel here. He likes Dover, but he's going to need something here to really turn this around. Currently in 15th as we close in on the halfway point.
What's really going to be interesting is green flag stops. As much as this field is gapped right now, I think that's going to be there might be a few changes in position. But just by the way, you've got to get on pit road here how quickly you can. Things will change. I assure you that when we get green flag stops, and I think we're getting ever so slightly closer. I do want to say, and Evan, you guys know when they will be coming down for green flag stops yet?
Well, not yet, because as we saw last time, as soon as we thought that and the crew chiefs were starting to calculate, we saw a caution, so they're being very particular about what they want to do. They're telling the drivers to stay patient, they'll let them know as soon as they know. So still lots of strategy and thinking going on top of the pit boxes.
And when you look at this field, Dakota, I think you hit the nail on the head. We see some pit entries that are really, I shouldn't say easy or so, as we have a car going around here, as that might be the caution flag. Pace car indeed is out. I was about to say, as the car is parked in the infield here, that is Doug Fleming in the number 28 car. He'll get going again. I was about to say the entry to pit road. We talked about falling off the banking into the straightaway. Falling off the banking into the apron here is a lot more difficult than doing that, especially when you have to slow down. And Doug Fleming's crew is going to have some work to do because the rear end suspension is all out of whack on the 28.
Yeah, there was nothing he could actually do right there. When I go back and look at the incident, it was the 11 car. Josh Cheney gets high off the corner, gets the outside wall, tries to pull the car off the wall, comes down a little too far, and actually collects the 28, who was just an innocent bystander trying to go around the 11 car. He was well out of the way, just unfortunately not enough room between him and the 11 when the 11 shot off the wall. Ended up putting the 28 on its roof, I do believe.
Pit stop's about to take place here as pit road is a very busy place. CJ Levere is leading your field down onto pit road. Doug Roth will stay out and get a bonus point, which would be really key in that 8th place battle in the point standings. Evan, what are these drivers saying? Do we see anybody take any strategy games here on lap number 67?
We're down here in the fours pits, and we have not heard anything of strategy. We think with this racetrack, you're going to need 4 tires, and CJ Levere pulls in right in front of me here. Looks like he's going to take 4 tires, a slight adjustment. He's happy with this car. He's doing better at holding off Chad Cole, all the other leaders, 4 tires and slight adjustments. Travis?
Yeah, I'm seeing everybody take 4 tires as well. See, leading off pit road, we have the 7 car. Looks like he's coming out second. Back to you guys.
4, 1, and 7, your top 3, and quick pit stops once again up front. The 4 car of CJ Levere going to win this race over Chad Cole, and he will have command once again when we go back to green, Dakota.
The 4 crew must be pumped up, man. They're really quick on pit road today. I mean, it's been consecutive times where they've been nailing it on pit road. 4 car coming out with the lead once again. He actually passed Chad Cole on pit road, and since then Chad Cole has not gotten back around that 4 team. So they're definitely very quick on pit road, and I'm guessing making adjustments because that one machine is having a little bit more of a problem passing the 4 car than what it was earlier, as I'm hearing the 11 car being sent to the garage.
Tough break for him this evening. Josh Cheney will not finish this event. The 14th round of this Asphalt Assault Series presented by Inside Sim Racing and Derek Spear Designs. If you're looking for anything to do with sim racing components such as shifters, pedals, button boxes, and much more, top shelf simulation racing components, reasonably priced. This is the kind of gear that championship sim racing drivers need. Bulletproof and boot stomping strong. See his gear at Derek Spear Designs. Com, and a great guy to deal with. Derek really stands by his products as well. And speaking about Derek Spear Designs, go check out his website because we're going to step away for just a few moments' time. Don't go away.
InsideSimRacing.tv, the fastest show on the internet. Sim racing news and reviews since 2007, with new shows every week.
Welcome back to the Dover International Speedway, a site of round number 14 of the Asphalt Assault Series, presented by Inside Sim Racing and Derek Spear Designs. Jay Levere and Chad Cole, your top two, and in fact your top three haven't changed much since we dropped the green flag with Bobby Terrell in position number 3. Qualified in 4th, stepped up to 3rd, and now we are getting ready to go back to green. We'll see where the 4 car restarts here as we get ready to see the 4 car come up at a corner number 4. Green flag flies, and the 1 car again sleeping. He's going to stack up this back, or the outside line, check that, the 7 and the 33 to the inside. Terrell might take 2nd for the first time this evening.
I'm starting to wonder if it's sleeping or if the outside lane is just not the place to be on a restart. It's what it's appearing to be, as the 1 car falls back behind the 7. Now it looks like he's going to try to get the spot back as he makes up quite a bit of time to the corner. 7 actually nailed him off of the corner, though. 7 really cut down and was able to make up a lot of time off of the corner on the 1 car there.
It's almost like he's missing a restart gear or something in that 1 car, but maybe he's missing a shift on his hardware or something. Maybe something's awry there, but it almost looks like he's missing a gear. He's missing 2nd or 3rd gear, or 2nd or 1st gear, because he gets right up to speed, Dakota, but it seems like he's missing something there. Maybe he's starting in 1st and has a hard time shifting or something. Maybe his shifter needs some work. Maybe Derek Spear Designs can help him out a little bit there. The 1 goes to the inside, or looked at the inside of the 7 of Terrell, down the back straightaway. Nothing doing there. 24 car also going to close in as well, but the 1 car is hungry on the 7.
Well, I would say speed's a little down on the pace laps. You might be you might restart in 1st gear, but maybe his car is missing 1st gear and has a 5th gear. You think?
That might very well be, because you see that car come up to speed, and it just seems like it's been shot out of a cannon. Once we do get 2-3 laps in, you saw him putting the pressure on the 7, relieves it just a little bit, and now he closes back in car number 1, up at a corner number 4 this time. 73 laps in the books. The 24, check that, a Marinak, your point leader, closing in as well. CJ Levere doing everything that he can to close in that 45-point gap right now between your top 2. He's out front. He's led the most laps this evening. Mission accomplished so far, but there's still some work to do. It's called the second half of this race.
Yeah, there's still quite a bit of that second half of the race, I would say, but how about the 33, David Lanza? We talked about him. He is kind of running down the 24 just a little bit here. That's the 33. David Lanza trying to run down Stefan Marinak, points leader here. I think we talked about Lanza has had his struggles, but really looking like he's putting a race together here. He's kind of slowly improved on his running order throughout the race series. He's now up into the top 5 and looking for the 4th position if he can get up there.
Yeah, Dave Lanza putting together a run here this evening in position number 5, but we mentioned it, trying to close the deal is a totally different thing. Mark Bratchard, John Abbott, Brian Harvey, Matt Lacrosse, Jose Gonzalez, your top 10. And for the moment, they are all single file all the way back to that 10th place position, and trying to look for a battle here that's side by side. A couple of close battles around the 85 and Nathan Bowers, the 2 of Brotherton ahead of him, but there's no side by side racing at this point. Then again, we can see that with a couple of cars getting close, somebody hits the wall or somebody misses their marks, Dakota, it shuffles everybody back in. The 85 has company now in the 15 of Rhett McBride, and you want to talk about falling through the field. Rhett McBride started third, and he's all the way back to 16th right now.
That's something you definitely don't want to see, and falling back is one thing. I mean, if you can recover, it is a whole nother thing. It looks like for some reason he might have had problems with the difference between the qualifying setup and the race setup, because he is just falling back like a rock and just kind of stuck back there just around 16th position. And up front, the 38 of Mark Bratcher just got the outside wall. He just got passed by the 67 of Brian Harvey, and now comes Lacrosse. Matt Lacrosse, the 21, looking underneath as the 38 had nailed the wall off of a corner, and he has a lot more company because Jose Gonzalez, 26 car, now filling up the meter on that 38.
We saw that a little bit earlier with a couple of drivers outside the top 10. Doug Roth comes to mind. When you hit that wall, it seems like you really need to reset yourself, and especially when you're on that outside line, you hit that wall from the inside, coming out of corner number 4, coming out of corner number 2, and now you're stuck on the outside. There's a little less room to sweep up there like you usually would from that inside line, and Bratcher nearly papers the wall again at a corner number 2. So Bratcher's really got to reset himself for a few laps, knowing, hey, I'm on the outside. I can't really sweep up that far like I used to until I can get back to that inside line, and then I have a little more room to navigate and a little more room to operate off the corner. But it doesn't look like he's going to have a whole lot of time to get down here, because the 81 of Almindo is going to be there. The 38 waited and waited. The 81 doesn't look like he's going to pick up the spot, but if he was a little more aggressive, he might actually get it here as the 38 sweeps up the racetrack a little bit. 38 tries to slam the door. That's not a good decision with that 81 charge, and the 84 says enough. I'm going to the inside of the 81, and he will pick up position number 12.
That was a little dangerous. I think the 38, he used a lot of throttle when he was on the outside and the 81 was coming. He kept that car on the outside, but he kept the momentum rolling. And as we have a wreck on the racetrack here, 69 involved, as well as a few others.
And that's on the front straightaway. Augusto Gabaldoni involved in this one, and you know what? That might not be his fault, as the 12 car was way up out of the groove. That's Douglas Wyatt, and the 48 car comes in, gives him a little shot. They had it saved, and then the 48 car looks like turns into the 12 on the straightaway. It looked like they had it saved. Dakota, the 12 car got up there. 48 got loose. He had it saved for about a quarter of the straightaway, and then he got into the 12, and Augusto Gabaldoni, nowhere that I feel bad for Gabaldoni. He's going to have a lot of rear end damage to that race car, and none of his doing. We stay under the green flag here?
I do believe we do, and that was really a weird incident, because that actually started, I mean, if you go back to a lap before that, I mean, these guys were still kind of going around Noah's cars, making all kinds of contact, and that just ended up being the stuff that would end up ending the 69's run there. It put him a lap down as he got lapped. It looks like, I don't know if he had to come down pit road or not, but definitely some problems as he did come down pit road.
67 car. Brian Harvey was looking at the inside wall coming off of corner number 2 and down the back straightaway as he and John Abbott checked that. Went at it as the 28 car was in the grass down there. The 40 car of Joey Hilton almost caused that what could have been an accident there, Dakota, as he was being lapped. And we talk about this racetrack, everybody's on top of each other here. The 40 car of Joey Hilton, those two cars that were on the lead lap just came up on the 40 car like he was standing still. Really nothing wrong with that 40 car, nothing he did wrong. It's just that they caught him at the wrong time there by the looks of it. They stay straight, but John Abbott and Brian Harvey, I'm sure, are breathing a sigh of relief right now.
Let's say they are, as there's now a car length and a half between them, both of them, but that car length and a half is kind of getting a little smaller. As the 67 has recovered and is trying to run back down. The 10 car might be falling off just a little bit here. The 67, I would say he's going to be a little concerned after that whole ordeal. You might wait for him to come down, make changes, make sure the car is comfortable before he starts charging the corners or trying to run down the cars in front of him. Again, he might be really easy on the throttle here, and and how he's driving the car here. He's being very conservative, but he's keeping on the bottom. He's still running his line. You see the 10 car gets up the track just a little bit. That costs him a lot of times. The 67 closes back in.
10 car way up out of the groove, and the 67 will pick up the spot on John Abbott. So move Brian Harvey up. one more spot, and just behind them, Matt Lacrosse and Jose Gonzalez going at it for the spot. And when you look at the point standings right now, Matt Lacrosse and Jose Gonzalez, only 4 points between them, with Lacrosse over Gonzalez, and in between them they have Bobby Terrell in the standings, so 3rd, 4th, and 5th. There we have 3rd and 5th battling for position number 8 and 9. The 21 and 26 car go at it for position.
And looking at Matt Lacrosse, he's been one of those guys that we've known has been known to have pretty good runs. One, I believe, at Darlington, just barely won. As he gets the outside wall hard, the 26 is going to run him down pretty quickly. But 21 car has been known to have pretty good short runs, but not be able to put the end of the race together, unfortunately. And that's nothing you want to see as a driver. He's definitely got to hang in there. He's actually got a pretty good top 10 run going. Going to finish 9th here, currently running in the 9th position if he can keep his running up. But he definitely does not want to get the wall like he did a few laps ago.
And we crossed the halfway point in this race as well. 92 laps being worked on the board of 160. So we are in the second half of this race. LeVere leads Bobby Terrell. Chad Cole has not been able to get past Terrell in the 7 for position number 2. Dave Lanza in position number 4, just behind the 7 and the 1 cars. So it looks like the 1 of Chad Cole maybe at this point saving something, Dakota, because he was up in front of CJ LeVere. Maybe CJ LeVere wasn't showing all his cards earlier in this race. Nevertheless, the 4 leads the 7 and the 1, and Chad Cole was very strong on those long green flag runs, and we're getting ready, I think, to see a long green flag run. And we said it the first 2 runs, and I might be the one to jinx it this time. We might see some green flag pit stops here before this race is over.
We might, but how about you talk about green flag pit stops? I'm talking about a green car here, the 33. That's David Lanza, currently running in the 4th position. He passed Stephen Marinette in the 24 car. He's now in front of him by just about a second. And his teammate, the 1 car, that is Chad Cole. He's seeing that rear view mirror turn really green really quickly here. It's the 33. It's been creeping up on him in a hurry here.
So we're going to have a battle for positions 2, 3, and 4, as it looks like the 4 car of CJ LeVere may have let a little bit up as well, as he's only 3 car lengths ahead of Bobby Terrell now as they close in on Stephen Herring to put Herring another lap down, or check that 1 lap down. He did get the free pass on one of our cautions as he goes up the racetrack, lets the leaders go by. But it looks like Terrell is closing in on CJ LeVere. The last time by, he was a 10th quicker than your leader. So the 7 car of Terrell trying to get his 5th win of the season and 2nd consecutive win in this series, as he knows when to pour the pressure on when it counts. What's his nickname again, Dakota?
Here comes Bobby.
And he's coming to the front of the field right now. Just a little bit quicker, CJ LeVere was that time over Bobby Terrell. 2 1,000ths of a second between your top 2 when it comes to the lap times.
Yeah, well, Bobby, no stranger to winning races, to being very, very strong in races. Remember, he did win last week at Charlotte. I wouldn't say there's very many similarities to Charlotte here, minus the fact that Charlotte, when you go into turn number 1, it feels like you're falling off of a cliff. When you get through here, I think it was explained earlier, it feels like you're bungee jumping off a cliff. So something somewhat similar, I would say.
Been told the 15 and 88 were getting into it a little bit earlier, and the 15 was on the inside wall 2 laps ago, as the 40 car is on the outside wall as he gets lapped a 5th time this evening for Joey Hilton as they go at it behind them. The 24 car, Marinette, had a very close call there as he had the 48 lapped car in front of him of Frank Coons and had to dive to the inside as he tried to dive to the inside of the 40 car of Joey Hilton. So close call there, I should say, for your point leader in position number 5, as a couple of these lap cars just bouncing off these safer barriers like it's going out of style, Dakota.
That's one way to put it, I would say. But the 24, diving down there as the car was diving down on another car, that's not something you want a points leader would be doing. So, as I'm hearing, we have a wreck on the racetrack. Yeah, no caution on the racetrack, but there was a wreck somewhere on the racetrack. Evan Soko, you have more information on that?
And we were just hearing on the radio the number 40 car of Joey Hilton. The 48 machine of Frank Coons got up in the racetrack, and the 40 was side by side with the 5-0. And when the 48 bounced off the wall, the 40 had nowhere to go. Great save. He almost got hit by the 98. They drove it through the grass, and they are staying on the racetrack. So that was a really close call.
Interested to see here what the 24 can turn for lap times in these next few laps. 2.3 seconds behind your leader. He's now in clean air. CJ Lavere the last time. Bobby Terrell mid to high 8s, and for CJ Lavere it was a 24.90. Marinek the last time by was a 24.93. So it looks like Marinek is just a touch off these top 4 right now. I don't know if he's saving something because he's got a second on Brian Harvey in the 67 for position number 6, or what exactly he's doing right now, Dakota. But I don't think you can count out Marinek from this, especially if we do have a late caution with, let's say, 15 to go.
You see CJ Lavere runs a low 8 that time to everybody else running a 7. Marinek actually ran a high 8, so, Marinek, he's not far off. I would say he might just be missing the line a little bit. That's something you get when you just fall off the leaders just a little bit. Now he's falling out of touch. I mean, he's 2.5 seconds behind these guys. He's losing a little bit of lap. He cannot really see what these guys are running lane-wise. He's not close enough to know what's going on. And I think that's one of the biggest things as a driver, that you have to be able to see somebody in front of you. I mean, that does help you a lot when you can see somebody in front of you, mock their line, especially when you're close enough to, kind of figure out where they're lifting and where they're not. And you can do a lot more with that. And that might be where he's losing a little time. He can't actually see what's going on around him.
7 car tossed it in there for the lead position, and it did not stick, and it almost took CJ Lavere to the wall. Bobby Terrell went up 2 grooves, and now he is under fire from the 1 car. CJ Lavere currently leads on lap 105 of 160. We're going to step away for just a few moments' time. Go grab your popcorn, because this finish is going to be tremendous. Don't go away.
Join 5,000 plus other listeners where you can hear everything from big 80s metal to classic rock and roll, country radio, ETV, live sports radio, even adult and unplugged rock and roll. HDRadioNetwork.com, one of the fastest growing internet radio networks, HDRadioNetwork.com. Take it with you, cowboy. Get the mobile app for Android, iPhone, iPad, and all the rest from TuneIn.com. It's time for those most famous words in motorsports. Travis, start your engines!
Michael Conti comes up at a corner number 4, and the checkered flag, he wins his first. Under caution on lap 109, and you see it here, Scott Brotherton loses it off corner number 2. He said the thing would not turn, Dakota, and he ends up parking it at the end of the back straightaway. Dave Lanza had nowhere to go. Didn't anticipate that car being there and really didn't have enough time to negotiate that car once he got there as he was following the drivers in front of him. He gets into it, and Stefan Marinek also gets a huge piece of it, but they came down pit road. I did not see the 24 team fix damage. I don't see damage on the 24 car, so it might be an issue with the iRacing service, a little bit of connection issue. We'll talk about that in a second. I want to go down to Evan Pasoko, though. What happened down there on pit road with these drivers that were down? It looks like CJ Laver's out in front.
And that's right, when they came down for yellow flag pit stops, it was really close. Bobby Terrell had an amazing pit stop, but CJ Laver grabbed him at the very last second, and because it was a yellow flag, we didn't see any major strategy as it is late in the race. Everybody took 4 tires. CJ Laver, his car says it's slightly going away, so they made a slight air pressure adjustment, and that 7 car is coming fast, Travis.
Yeah, I saw a huge pack of cars. It looks like they all took 4 besides a couple fixing damage. So it looks like our front runners are basically the same.
Before we go back to Green, Dakota, I want to mention something that I was about to there on the 24 with this iRacing service. If a car hits another car and you're close enough, or the connection isn't as good to the server with that car that might be twirling around or spinning around, the car might act like it hits it, but it doesn't in the sim. The prediction code thinks it hits it, or it didn't hit it, but it looked like it did. So I don't think the sim registered the damage on the number 24 of Marinek. Well, I could be wrong, though. We could see some damage on this 24, and he could fall like a stone in this restart. But Marinek definitely got a piece of it. It doesn't look like he got any damage from it. We'll have to see what it does here. The 4 of CJ Laver is going to lead us once again to green as the pace car ducks onto the apron and into pit road. The 4 is gone. Green flag flies, and the battle will be for position number 2. Can Terrell hold on over the number 1 of Chad Cole? 24 slides in the line. Here comes Brian Harvey. Where did Brian Harvey come from? 67 to the inside.
And how about 67? As he now goes to the inside of the 10 cars. The 10 car pushed up the racetrack. 67 to Brian Harvey. Looks like he has made it even with the 10 car. He pushes up the racetrack. 10 car way up the racetrack. He's going to fall back a few spots. 67 picks up that spot and sets his sights on the 24. On the matter of the 24, when you're talking about that, it's really hard to explain the issue, and it rarely happens when a driver wants it to. It's the unique thing.
Stefan Marinek, that's essentially how the season's gone, though, for the 24. It just seems like he has that horseshoe or that lucky rabbit's foot or whatever the good luck charm is there for that number 24 team. It seems like he continues to have that in his back pocket wherever he goes. I did see Mark Bratcher in 38 make a spot on the 84 of Jimmy North, and North loses one more to Beau McGuire in the number 50. So it looks like the 84 trying to lock up a good finish here as he goes back at Beau McGuire for position number 11. It seems like he wants to really lock up that good finish. We talked earlier, he finished in the top 10 here last season. He's trying to get back there right now, but he's flirting just outside that top 10, it seems like, when we go green.
How about Glenn Campbell, 44 car? He's up to 12th position. When we talked about him back in around the 20th position, 25th earlier, he was one of those guys that really had to make up a few spots if he wanted to get going, and he has. He's up to 12th and looking for the top 10 as he's on the bumper of the 84 and the 50. I mean, they're all right there.
44 car has the 88 behind him, the 81 of Almindo, and the 85 of Nathan Bowers in this little pack as well. As we got one car way up out of the groove, and that is Matt Lacrosse, I believe. Lacrosse is up in the fence and trying to keep it there as to not cause a caution. It looks like everybody gets by here, but oh boy, that was a tough or close call for a lot of those drivers that were battling within that little pack.
Yeah, and his toes knocked out. What I mean by that is you see him, he's weaving all the way back and forth across the racetrack right there. He's trying to keep it out of the wall. He's up at the very top of the track. His car is kind of out of control. It's pulling one way. It's really, if you look at it, the way it's angled, it's pulling to the right. He's going to turn it more to the left than what he's used to and keep it off the wall. But if he turns too much, it shoots down the racetrack because he's turning way too much or not enough. I mean, it's one or the other. There is no in between. It seems like when your toe's knocked out, especially as bad as what his car appears to be right now.
And I don't know if Laura can get a replay of the completion of lap 114 into 115 on that number 21 car, but he comes out of 4, and it looks perfect. He just, I don't know if he missed his mark, Dakota, or what it was, but he wrecked in the middle of the straightaway, hit the fence in the middle of the straightaway going into 1, and that broke the car, essentially, broke the suspension on the car, and he tried to keep it out of the wall and just could not do it at a corner number 2. But you see it there, he gets out of 4 perfect. It just seems like he either missed his mark or maybe was looking up at something or something happened around him or something, and he just lost focus and hit the fence.
And there's always that thing where, I mean, if you're looking at it, you really want to get as close to the wall as you can, or a lot of drivers do. And what he's doing is he's trying to get as close as he can, maybe misjudges how close he actually is and gets the wall a little bit, unfortunately, or reaching for the radio or something, I don't know. But 21 car in trouble either way. It is the Monster Mile, and the Monster Mile has claimed a victim.
Not trying to make excuses, but the one thing you do mention there, Dakota, a lot of these drivers, depending on how their computers are set up, you can run triple screens on this iRacing service, which means if you have one screen in front of you, you see what's in front of you. Those other screens on the left and right hand side, you can see out of the race car. I don't know if Matt Lacrosse maybe only has a single screen set up and has a button set for that right hand side to maybe see how close he was to that wall. Maybe he just missed his marks, whatever the case may be. It's a tough break for Matt Lacrosse because he was running third in the points coming in and only 4 points in front of Jose Gonzalez and only 2 points ahead of your second place driver, Bobby Terrell. So the Matt Lacrosse team is likely going to fall to 5th in the point standings if something doesn't happen here in the next 40 laps or 39 laps of this race as we complete at 121.
I wouldn't say he couldn't rebound. I mean, if you do remember, he did win Darlington. Darlington's one of those tracks where it's a very difficult track. It's one lane, and it's a very complicated lane, and he knows how to get it done. If he can do something like win at a place like Darlington, beat out the guys that he did beat out, like Brundys and Marinac, he's got something. I think we just got to wait. There's still plenty of season left. The 21 team could probably still come up with something pretty decent for an end result in the point standings here, though.
I think if you're looking race-wise, he needs a caution quickly, and I say quickly because, number one, if he keeps going and we keep going 10 laps or so, I'm sure he's going to fall a lap down, but he's got to come on pit road and make those adjustments and fix that rear-end suspension on that race car or the front end, whatever he knocked out there, and then he's going to restart likely around 20th place or so, and then he has to make up as many positions as he can, because right now, CJ Levere last time by, for example, turned to 24.59, 26.27 for Matt Lacrosse the last time by as he gets passed by Joey Hilton on the racetrack in the 40 car. So 2 seconds or so off the pace. He's likely going to have to bank for a caution here. He will be in the lucky dog hole for a few laps. The next driver that is laps down is Joey Hilton, 4 laps down in position number 22 in the 40 car. So he's going to have a little bit of time to really sit there, Dakota, and be in that lucky dog position. But time is not on his side right now. He either needs this thing to finish out as the 21's going to come on to pit road right now. So that's going to finish what I just said. He's looks like he's going to throw in the towel here.
And, I mean, even, just a regular green flag stop here at Dover, I mean, a lot of times they're so fast, he could lose 2 laps there. Pit road speed limit, I do believe, is a 35 miles per hour, very, very slow pit road speed limit. And so, I mean, you lose at least half a lap to a lap just trying to get down pit road to your stall, let alone the amount of time it takes to complete your stop. And that's if you don't have to, fix damage on the race car. So he's definitely going to go several laps down here.
And it looks like, Evan, he's going to take 4 tires. He's down there. Why not? I know he overshot the pit box. I'm sure the driver isn't very happy right now.
And definitely not. He apologized to his team, just a loss of concentration. And they tried to stay out to hope for that caution flag to fly. And as they realized they were about to go a lap down, they figured might as well bring it in. They have 4 tires on it, and they are currently servicing repairs. They are discussing if they're going to bring it behind the wall or if they're just going to stay out, tough it out, try to get as much track position as possible. If there's another wreck, they can run around, gain a couple positions, but lots of damage to fix. That toe is knocked out in the rear end.
This might go green to the end, Dakota, as we are closing in on 30 laps to go, 32 this time by. Levere, Terrell, and Cole are your top 3. But I'm looking back through this field. We have a couple of close packs. It looks like Marinac trying to hold off Harvey and Abbott. Gonzalez running on his own. Bratcher on his own with Campbell 3 car lengths behind. It looks like everybody's really straightening out a little bit. and lengthening their gap on each other, finding a place to race right now. This could very well go green to the end if everybody minds their P's and Q's.
And Tim, I think you just jinxed it, as I'm sure all the viewers can see the yellow bar at the top of the screen. That means caution's out. The 27 car, Jalen Watkins, position number 20, lap 129. And this is heading into turn number 1. Yeah, I don't know exactly what happens. 69 gets the outside wall. That's Augusto Gabaldoni. He comes up, collects the 27 off of turn number 4. And that just spins the 27 around going into turn number 1. So lots of trouble there for the Jalen Watkins machine.
Second place runs into the back of the 27 as he was coming down the racetrack. Bobby Terrell, his night might be done here as the 27 came down the racetrack, and I know it's hard when you're spinning around. He and the 69 got into it. The 27 was up on that outside groove, and looking at that replay, instead of holding the brake up there, he must have known the leaders were coming. A lot of these drivers have that tool called the relative. They can hit the F button, get up there, and see that his pit stops are happening here. 27 did not hold the brake, Evan, and it looks like Terrell's night is over.
And Terrell definitely not happy down here at the front of pit road. The 26 car, Jose Gonzalez, is going to lead him off pit road. Here comes the 24 car, so close. Looks like the one Chad Cole may have beaten out CJ Lavera. Chad Cole was pushing CJ Lavera down pit road when they entered.
Cole speeds. He's going to get a penalty, it does look like here. The one car is going to the back of the field. He just got passed by several cars. Chad Cole caught speeding up pit road. I did tell you about the 35 mile per hour pit speed. And that's one of the things you got to watch out for, because that's probably one of the easiest speeds to speed at. I mean, when you're on, even in first gear, second gear, no matter what, it takes a lot of patience and throttle control, especially on pit road here. Because if you just use a little bit too much, trying to make up just a little bit more time, just that one little bit, that little gap, so you can beat somebody off pit road or something, that can cost you, because you can get sent to the rear, exactly like Chad Cole just was.
So the one of Chad Cole tried to get a little more off pit road and try to get that position over Lavere, but instead of gaining one position, he is going to fall about 17 of them, back to about 18th place or so when we go green. Jose Gonzalez is your leader. He took 2 right side tires. Everybody else that's behind him took 4, and I looked at that pit stop, Dakota, on Marinak, and I thought he must have took 2 tires because he was so quick off pit road, but he does take 4 tires, and your point leader is in position number 3. We step away here because we're getting ready for a finish to this race. Jose Gonzalez, your leader. Lavere, Marinak, Abbott, and Harvey, your top 5. Don't go away.
Inside SimRacing.tv, the fastest show on the internet. Sim racing news and reviews since 2007, with new shows every week.
Welcome back to ETV Live, powered by the HD Radio Network. This is the RSR Asphalt Assault Series, presented by Inside Sim Racing and Derek Spear Designs. We are getting ready to go green next time by Jose Gonzalez. Will lead our field to green. And Dakota, this is the first time CJ Lavera has not had control of a start or restart in this race. He will start on the outside line as the 26 starts on the inside. We'll ride on board with the 4 when we go green. We'll see if the 26 changes it up a little bit. We mentioned off some of these shows that these drivers technically have the right to restart the race when the pace car goes off. That's when the sim says you can essentially go. They throw the green flag a little bit later than when that pace car comes off. There's that little bit of a box between the pace car peeling off, and it peels off early here because pit road entrance is early, and when the green flag comes. We've seen CJ Lavera wait. What do you think Jose Gonzalez is going to do here?
Well, I think he's on 2 tires, so he has to start the field for a loop. He's got to go. I want to say he's got to go as soon as he can, but that might be a lie because he wants to make sure that they don't expect what's happening. So he's going to do exactly what we think he's going to not do. Just to do it. I mean, that's what he has to do here. We'll watch the 26 as the pace car dives in. The 26 is away. The 4 car gets got sleepy, and now the 24 looking to take over the spot.
Marinek to the inside of the 4 of CJ Lavera as he will take position number 2 here by the looks of it. The outside line, not the place to be. The 10 car of John Abbott looking to make something happen. 4 car nearly went into a hole that was not there. The 10 of Abbott going to go to the inside once again as he looks to follow the 24 through, and the 67 is there as well. 4 car going to be stuck on the outside group. The 10 car might not get there. 4 car back to the inside, and the number 24 got just enough of a run off corner number 4 to make that happen.
And the 4 car's not done. As the 4 car gets a little sideways, maybe coming off the corner. He's all right, but he's sticking to the bumper of the 24, maybe looking underneath here if he can. He's not going to get the room. He's going to stay behind the 24. Meanwhile, 10 car right on the bumper of the 4. As the 4 gets the apron just a little bit, maybe trying to get down there and use all the every bit of the track as he can. As the 10 car gets all the way to the bumper, shoots down the racetrack, has to back out rather than make contact with the 4. As the 4 gets the apron once again, we'll lose a little bit more time to the 24. As the 10 again shoots down.
10 car going to go to the inside, and CJ Lavera going to lose position number 3 and going to lose position number 4 as here comes the 67 of Brian Harvey. Harvey to the inside as he will try to pick up position number 4 from CJ Lavera. Lavera has led the most laps here this evening, but he is falling like a stone on this run. We talked about resetting yourself and getting a rhythm back as the 38 hit on into the fence on the back straightaway. Caution flag will fly for Mark Bratcher in the number 38 car as I just caught it out of the corner of my eye. I'm not sure who got into him back there, but I think by the way that car turned, he had to have help.
Yeah, I would say the 88 of Adam Roberts, and Adam Roberts was right on his bumper exiting the corner. 38 gets the outside wall. 88 nowhere to go, makes contact with him. I think the 88 might have pinched him up just a little bit. 38 car, though, the bad end of that deal is it looks like he's not the only one that got contact out of that, but smoke pouring out of that machine when he tried to roll away.
Rhett McBride may have got a little piece of that on the back straightaway as well. It looks like there's a couple of drivers that are being a little naughty over the in-race voice chat as the 88's chat and the 15 Adam Roberts and Rhett McBride. Their chats have been disabled in the server, so they are not very happy with those drivers. And you see the 38 car hit the fence there on that replay, Dakota, but I think you hit the nail on the head as well. The 88 car of Adam Roberts, he could have been a little bit lower knowing that the 38 was up there and just really trying to make that move happen. I think the 88 could have given him just a little more room. If he would have hit the wall, he probably still would have came down, but the 88 would have had a better chance at missing the 38 and not putting him into the inside fence.
And I don't know, it's a tough call, it really is. It's kind of difficult to judge, especially from inside the car. So I know Adam Roberts probably couldn't really see exactly how close he was, or how close the outside car was to the wall, or maybe where they were track position wise. He could have been focused on the outside car rather than the inside lane or the racetrack. So anything could have happened there. Rhett McBride obviously not happy. After being caught up in that incident. And how about a big shout out to Brendan Mercer? He's a race official here tonight. I actually asked him what he was doing here. He actually races the Full Throttle Cup Series on Monday nights. Said he was bored and offered to help. So Brendan Mercer coming down to offer his assistance.
I know you're looking for some great quality programming once we go off the air here this evening. Of course, you're going to tune in to ETV Live Radio if you haven't yet. And one of the great shows on there, iRacing Today. The iRacing Today radio show hosted by Trevor Cameron and Chad Dalton. By the fans, for the fans. This is an unabridged, unbiased, and completely off-the-cuff live radio show about everything iRacing, up close and not personal. Live call-ins, no rules, no backtalk, and no BS. iRacing Today radio show runs Mondays at 8:30 p.m. Eastern on ETV Live Radio, etv-eplay.net. And it's also featured on iTunes, Windows Media Guide, and TuneIn Radio, and you can get the mobile app for them at tunein.com. And I'm sure one of the big topics of discussion this Monday, Dakota, is going to be something that iRacing really kind of snuck in on us. They told us in this new update today that there would be no new content. They lied. Kansas Speedway is now out for the sim, and I haven't had the opportunity to do any laps there. I've talked to some drivers, though, that have, and they are absolutely blown away by what iRacing has put together at Kansas Speedway.
It is a beautiful racetrack. They did a fantastic job on it. I love Kansas Speedway, especially here. Glad to have it on the service. It is a lot of fun. I actually went around and screwed around on it. It is, I'm glad to have it on the service. It really is a, very interesting racetrack, fast and wide, as Laura Lawson said. Camera operator here tonight, and I can't wait to broadcast a few races on it.
And it also comes with the night version, 3 different variations, and it comes at $14.95. But if you have all the oval content, or you have 100% content oval road, you get a discount. Or if you buy more than one piece of content, you do get a discount. It is worth every single penny. Also want to give the guys at Inside Sim Racing another shout here. They are the first and best choice for all the news, reviews, and online motorsports. Join Darren and Sean for the latest and greatest in product reviews, simulation auto racing games for PC and the Xbox crowd, from steering wheels to full-size racing rigs, updates on popular racing games, and a whole lot more. The yellow pages of online auto racing. Inside Sim Racing has it all. Visit them at isrtv.com. And a great group of guys over there. I've had the opportunity to work with Darren and Sean on a couple of shows and a couple of projects. Absolutely fantastic guys over there, and they get the job done. And as we've seen before, Dakota, they are they get to the point and they deliver the point with what they are getting at, whether it's a product review or a race review or what have you. As we get ready to go green here, it's going to be Jose Gonzalez and Stefan Marinek leading the field to green. Your point leader trying to do something with Gonzalez. And CJ Levere is going to start on the inside line at position number 5. The inside start may be able to get him a couple of spots here as we close in. We're less than 20 laps to go, 18 to go at the stripe, and Gonzalez goes early. Green flag flies, 10 and 24 going to go side by side. How about the run put tonight by John Abbott? Abbott to the inside.
Yeah, and there's CJ Levere. He's back there in the 4th position. He's looking to get 3rd as he got to the bumper of the 24. 24 looking like he's going to pull the crossover. 10 car on the outside wall. He shoots down the racetrack. 24 was actually trying to go down at the same exact time, so basically that blocked is where somebody's around here.
50, 84, the 88 involved. Caution flag will fly, and they tried to stick it 3 wide in 2 grooves, and that did not work. It started with the 44, Glenn Campbell, going down to the inside, and we saw 2 blocks there being thrown down that back straightaway, Dakota. We saw that number 10 hit the wall and essentially run the 24 down to the apron. When that happened for position number 2, just behind them, it looked like Brian Harvey in the 84. The 84 ran the 20 or the 67 check that essentially up into the fence off corner number 2. The 44 goes to the extreme inside and makes that spot work, but at the same time, the 50 at Beau McGuire was going to the outside. 44 gets into the 84 and sends him up into the 50. 50 innocent bystander there. They had enough room to operate there. The 50 comes down a little bit, but the 44, I think the 84 might have anticipated the 50 to come down a little bit more. As you said, it's tough inside that race car to figure out where you are, especially when you're 3 wide going down into corner number 3 here at Dover, where there's not a whole lot of room to really do anything. The big beneficiary out of this all, though, is they continue to wreck out back. Jose Gonzalez and those 2 tires continues to lead this thing. And we talked about CJ Levere starting on the inside, picking up 1 spot. He'll now start on the outside on this restart. Your point leader will start on the inside of Stefan Marinek. And the run that John Abbott has got this evening going for the number 10 car, he is putting together a race He's just got to close the deal. We're going to have less than 15 laps to go when we go back to green. He could be one of the drivers to watch here in these closing laps, not only for maybe a top 3 finish, but maybe even a win if he can get a good start.
Well, I'll tell you what, the 10 car, you got to remember, did get the wall there. I don't think it's going to be a whole lot of damage to that machine, but he almost looked like he was being run down immediately after getting the wall, like the 24. I mean, going to the next corner just was able to turn so much better. You got to wonder if the 10 has some toe knocked out or anything in the 10 machine that could slow him down here. But the 26 on 2 tires, he's doing what he needs to do every time on a restart. Let's get a little bit of a gap. Make sure that they're racing behind him. I mean, he's literally bringing the inside lane side by side with the outside lane, so that there is only competition behind him. There is no single file. Until we get a few laps in, and he's already gone. He's got a little bit of a gap, and that's all he needs right there.
We talked about the 4 earlier in the race, starting almost every restart at that line. There's a line, fatal line in corner number 4, where he would start the race, CJ Levere. It seems like Jose Gonzalez is starting in between when the pace car peels off and that line, instead of in there when the pace car peels off and the green flag, which I'm assuming here at Dover, and I haven't run Dover in a long while, Dakota, I'm assuming it comes out a couple of seconds after that line, almost when they're up out of 4 on the straightaway, at least your leaders are. So there's that big box there that you can start wherever you feel in that box, because you are the leader of the race. Jose Gonzalez has been stepping it up early. Does he possibly, you talked about thinking about what these leaders are going to do and maybe doing the opposite. Do we see Jose Gonzalez here, if not on this restart, maybe the final restart of the race, if we get a quick caution here, to maybe wait a little bit longer to take this green flag and maybe throw those guys for a loop?
Well, I think he's been kind of jumping back and forth with what he actually wants to do. I mean, I think we could see that, and I think we could also see him jump extremely early. I think when you're sitting in the driver's seat right now, what you got to look at when you're coming to a restart is where the pace car is. You don't worry about where that box is, where the pace car is. If the pace car's on pit road, you're good. You are most likely past that mark because the pace car had to pull off, had to get inside the pit road. And, if it's behind that wall, you're good. Go ahead and go whenever you want. Generally at most tracks that's how it is, and I know it's really hard here to see that little box. There's no cone, there's no nothing. You have to really look for a box when you need to be looking in front of you. So that's a good thing about having a pace car, is it can actually help you determine where you're going to start. And he might actually have a mark with where he sees the pace car at on pit road that lets him and allows him to go. And people may not be seeing that marker. He could be changing it. Either way, though, I think he's really watching the pace car right now.
Looked like the 1 car. Chad Cole may have given a little bit of a bump to the 4 of CJ Levere, as we're going to go on board here as we get ready for green. Jose Gonzalez is your leader. John Abbott looking to put his first win of the season on the board. Gonzalez is looking for win number 3 on this 2013 campaign. Pace car is in. When does the 26 car go? There it is. Green flag flies. 24 to the inside of the 10. Right off the hop. The 10 car of John Abbott. The 4 of CJ Levere, as they make a little bit of contact there by the looks of it. And if they didn't, it was close. Oh, the 1 punts the 4 into corner number 1. 4 up the racetrack. 1 through. 67 and 88 there, coming for the spot.
And 26 is loving this because he's driving away quite a bit here. As it looks like Meridak has taken the spot over Abbott. Abbott now falling victim to Cole as Cole comes to the inside. Going to be side by side off of turn number 4 across the start finish line. Abbott had the spot. Here we go into turn number 1. Looks like there it goes, Cole.
And Cole in the number 1 takes position number 3. Abbott moves back to 4th and now has to fend off. Oh, as we got the 62 around in the back, I do believe. Caution flag should come out here. 62 and 65 are around at a corner number 2, and that's around the Hornet's Nest, the 12th and 13th place positions that did spin out there. As I was watching CJ Levere falling back to the field at 62, I think hit the wall there trying to get his toe recorrected. But another 3 wide position, and oh, would you look at that? Glenn Campbell on the inside. This time, though, he gets up into the 65, but not until the 98 car pitches it in there. That's Stephen Herring, and Herring's had a tough race here this afternoon or this evening. He's on the lead lap, but he overshot the corner there by a little bit, I think, Dakota.
Just a little bit. That's all it takes is a little bit. That's one of the things about Dover is, I mean, really, it's hard to have braking points, lifting points, especially in these cars. You don't have to really brake as much, you're nearly at all, and that's one of the great things about the racetrack, and it makes it so much faster for these cars. But it's one of the bad things because you don't have the ability to slow the car up because generally the brake biases aren't even nearly tuned to small braking. It's either a lot of braking or slowing the car down big time. That's what you don't want to do. You got to keep up race pace, and so when they get on the brakes just a little bit, even generally they can really hurt the car, maybe throw the car sideways or throw it to the inside wall or something like that. So I mean, maybe just overdrove, didn't want to get on the brakes, and was hoping everything would be okay.
CJ Rivera is on pit road, and Evan, this was his race. He led so many laps. He dominated the first 3 quarters of this race, and now with less than 10 laps to go, he sits on pit road. This has to be heartbreaking.
And we've been talking to the crew, and they got stuck on the high side there for second position. They told him to get down as soon as possible. And you saw he got a bump from the 1 car, Chad Cole, on the pace laps there. And then the 1 knocked him in turn number 1, pushed him up the racetrack. And the number 4's team not very happy about that. CJ is silent on the radio. Travis, you have any other updates?
I saw the 44 come into the pits as well. He looked like he got some damage repairs, got 4 tires put on the thing. And like you said, the 4 very silent on the radio, so is the 1. So we'll be looking to see what was going on there, if anything. Back to you.
So those drivers return to the racetrack with Jose Gonzalez. Your leader looks like Doug Roth, as he had some early issues in this race, but he will get back on the lead lap here, so he will be scored in position number 15 as we get ready to throw the green flag in a couple more laps. Gonzalez and Marinek, your top 2, and this is exactly what Gonzalez wanted. He wanted this race to have a couple of cautions, I'm sure, and we'll talk to him in the post-race show if he continues to be up there. But Marinek and Cole running in positions number 2 and 3 right now, Dakota. Gonzalez got to be loving this.
He does, and there's one guy that really isn't loving this, the fact that he just got passed, and I just got him on the radio. I felt like we should talk to him. I mean, he's got an outstanding run going in the 10 machine. That's John Abbott. John, I know you got the wall a little bit there. You fell back a few spots. Is your car okay, and can you get those spots back?
Oh man, Dakota. I didn't hit it just a little bit. I clobbered it. I knew I went under Stefan on that restart, and my line through the corner caused me to push on exit. I knew I was going to hit the wall, so I wanted to hit it broadside. But yeah, my car toe's knocked out a little bit. It's not driving like it was, so I'm just going to try to hang on here.
Now, when you got the wall, you came down the racetrack and cut off the 24 car. Was that your intentions, or was it just kind of an accident there?
No, not at all. And I even told him I wasn't trying to block. I was just trying to get out of his way. I didn't know. When you hit the wall like that, you don't know what your car is necessarily going to do, and so I didn't really know which way he was going to go, and it was sort of one of those deals. But anyway, just a driver mistake there, and may have cost me the race because I was sitting in a pretty good position. But anyway, looks like Jose made a good call here. We'll see what happens.
John, I don't think it's necessarily over for you. You just got to get a good restart here. We wish you the best of luck on the restart. Hopefully we can talk to you after the race.
All right, appreciate it, guys.
So we are down the back straightaway getting ready to go green. This is going to be the money start. If we get one caution here off the hop on 154, we might have one more restart. But for Jose Gonzalez, Stefan Marinek, Chad Cole, John Abbott, and Brian Harvey, you have to believe that this is the final restart, and you have to get everything that you can here in order to get a good finish at Dover. Pace car is in. Jose Gonzalez in control of the field, still waiting to bring them down. There they go. Green flag flies 67 into the back of the 1, waiting to go. Marinek is going to block for position at number 2 as the 1 at Chad Cole in the 3rd. It's side by side for 4th. Abbott on the outside, sliding that car into the corner. Is he going to get the run off the corner? No, he is not. Here comes Harvey to the inside, and the rest of the field going to try to follow through.
Yeah, almost 3 wide for a second. We're going to be 3 wide. 50 car on the bottom. The 85 almost gets turned by the 80. Well, we're all right, though. We're back 2 wide to most of the field. We have a wreck. It looks like 71 car turned around.
Caution flag will fly for the 71 of Keith Brooks Jr. and this We might have one lap to go, or a one-lap restart here, but it looks like everybody going for the same piece of real estate at the same time, Dakota. 4 comes down the racetrack. 71 checks up a little bit, thinks the 4 car is going to be there if I keep in the throttle, and the 15 car, Rhett McBride, does not check up. It's into a Matt Lacrosse, may have got a little piece of the 15 as they were slowing up for it. So the caution flag will fly. We might have, I believe, 156 is being worked on the board. We might have a one-lap restart, if that. But Jose Gonzalez has been pretty stellar in these last few laps in these restarts.
Yeah, the 71, I mean, he was the bad end of that incident. Toe knocked up, I do believe, crab walking bad. So a lot of damage to the 71 machine of Keith Brooks Jr., unfortunately. And Jose Gonzalez, 2-tire call. If you believe us, about 20 laps ago, I would say, a little bit more than that possibly. And he's still up front, he's still leading the race, and we'll have a small shootout here when we go back green, and he'll lead the way. He has control of the restarts, and I think that's all he needs right now. The one thing that really was weird, though, was Chad Cole didn't get going. He was the first guy on the inside behind Jose Gonzalez that did not get going. He didn't hold up the 24. Jose Gonzalez was being rained down very quickly, but Marinak wasn't alone because Cole was coming pretty quickly as well. I have a feeling we have a battle on our hands, especially if the one can't get going on this restart.
Yeah, Chad Cole and the 1 is going to look for something to happen here, but you have to think, if you're Chad Cole, you're sitting there in that last restart in position number 3, the 24 car got that good restart, and it seems like Chad has just been missing something on these restarts this evening, and Marinak just barely gets the best of him. If Cole had that nose there, more than likely, if he could have got through 1 and 2, he may have come out with position number 2. But right now, he's going to start on the inside line behind your top 2, Gonzalez and Marinak, if we do go green. And Harvey and Roberts going to be your top 5. And let's not underestimate what Adam Roberts has done this evening. The 88 car continues to come to the front of the field, keeps picking off spots every caution flag, every restart, and now he sits in position number 5 as we close in on the finish of this race. Great run for the 88 car as he was he's sitting right now in points, 39th. He's got 9 starts this season, Dakota, but trying to get everything that he can. This is his 10th start of the season, and he'll look to move up a couple of positions with this run.
That he will. I would say he's got a pretty solid run going, and all he's got to do is, just finish out here. Just a few laps left, just hang in there strong. As we work lap 158, we're not side by side here, so we're not going green next time. That means we will have indeed a 1-lap shootout here. Tim Terry, you called it.
So we'll see green and white on the same lap. It's not a green-white checker. We will see the green and the white flags on the same lap. Now, if the 26 comes across the stripe to register 160 on the board or register the beginning of lap 160, we will race back to the checkers. If something happens that they stack up in the back and the 26 of Gonzalez does not get to the line prior to 160, it will finish under caution. But I think these guys should be able, at least Dakota, to get to that line and battle this out for the win. Marinak and Cole are going to be throwing it in, I'm sure, on Jose Gonzalez to try to prevent him from taking the win, which would be his 3rd of the season. Marinak has won 4 races this year. Chad Cole, a substitute driver, has not won a race this year, in this series at least. Brian Harvey, Adam Roberts, Nathan Bowers, all the way back, heck, to CJ LeVere in position number 11. 80 your top 10 have not won a race this season. The only 2 that have are going to start in the front row.
That is, that's interesting, but I think the 2 that are on the front row know how to get it done, and those might be the 2 that get it done. Chad Cole, he's no stranger to victory lane, but not quite so familiar in this series, or as of lately. He did win the RSR Icebreaker Winter Series that was on Monday nights during the off-season for the Full Throttle Cup Series. He was a season champion, so he's not unfamiliar with these cars, to say the least. He knows how to get it done. 67, solid run for them. Brian Harvey, it looked them, maybe them hang on to the top 5 here, I think.
But many things can happen in one lap. Gonzalez, Marinak, Cole, Harvey, Roberts, top 5. Nathan Bowers, Stephen Almendo, Bo McGuire, Glenn Campbell, and John Abbott, your top 10. as they get ready to go green. CJ Lever dominated this race. He sits in position at number 11 with Herring, Williams, Wilco, Roth, Brooks. First car 1 lap down in 16th. Pace car is in, 26 car in command of the field. Green and white at the same time as they come up at a corner number 4. The 24 is there on the outside as they are going to wreck it off corner number 4. I believe we're going to stay green, Dakota.
Yeah, we stay green. Jose Gonzalez has a pretty good restart, but he's got the 24 right on his bumper. 24 getting closer, closer, closer. He's not giving any room. He's right there. He can see it. He just can't get down there.
He didn't toss it into 3, looking for the run off 4 is the 24 Marinek. Is he going to get there? No, he is not, and Gonzalez goes to victory lane for the 4th time this season, or check that, 3rd time this season. Marinek, Cole, Adam Roberts in 4th, and Almindo complete your top 5. That wreck happened around the 85 car, Nathan Bowers, and keep an eye on the 85. He's coming up through this pack. I don't think he's happy with somebody here.
Definitely not sure who that could be, but we do have our winner on the radio here, Tim Terry, Jose Gonzalez.
Jose Gonzalez, your winner. Congratulations. You had to take those 2 tires. What was the mindset on that winning pit stop move?
The mindset is I suck at this track, and I couldn't pass one car all day long, and that's the only way I could get in front. And I know the records come out in the last 20 laps, so I just counting on that, and I was right.
How big were those restarts, especially that last one with 1 to go?
Yeah, the restart. I mean, this car has good grip on a restart. So when you step on the gas, it sticks. It won't spin the tires. I like this car for that, and so I wasn't worried about it. I was worried about if too many green laps came by, everybody behind me had better tires and they would catch up. I know Stefan and Chad and CJ, they were all faster than me, so I was just hoping for cautions, and it worked.
I don't know if you're thinking points or not yet, but this will put you to 3rd place in points. Heading to Rockingham next week, another 1-mile racetrack. Have you done any testing at Rockingham, and how big is that points picture in your mind?
Well, yeah, definitely the point. I'm looking at those points, and I've been climbing slowly, and I haven't been up in the points in any of these leagues, and so yeah, I'm working on it. I don't know. Was it Rockingham, you said?
Rockingham next week.
Yeah. I gotta practice. I don't think I've done much testing there, but I wasn't good at this track. I mean, you can never give up. I guess the 2 tires did it for me.
I know you got some sponsors on the car, and I know you got a dedicated team that helps you work on the racecraft each week. Who makes it happen for you?
Oh yeah, I want to thank Hippie's Paint Shop and my team, the Fearless Racing team, and the RSR and John Abbott and all the admins that make this for us, and you guys in the ETV and the sponsors, and I'm loving it. Gonna burn these tires off.
And I think Laura's got the camera on it. 26, going to burn it down in the back straightaway. Your winner this evening, taking his 3rd win of the season in the RSR Asphalt Assault Series, presented by Inside Sim Racing and Derek Spear Design. Jose Gonzalez, your winner. I believe 2nd place is standing by. Your point leader, Stefan Marinek.
And that's right, we're down here on pit road. Stefan Marinek just climbed from his 24 machine. And Stefan, that was real close there at the end. Did you think you could have got him?
If I had a few more laps, I think so. But I was mainly focusing on trying to hold Chad off because I knew he was faster than both of us. But if I had a few more laps, I think I could have because he had 2 tires. But I don't know. Chad could have passed me too.
And on that final restart, you were up on the right side of Jose. You were on the high side. We didn't see that work much at all, and everyone that started up there seemed to drop back. So what was the idea? Just get down low as soon as possible?
Yeah, ever since they changed the restart rules, you've been able to do that. You can just pull down whenever you got clear. So that's pretty much what I did, and yeah, it worked out.
And definitely a good night overall. You were hanging out around 5th position for the majority of the night. Almost got caught up in a wreck. How was the night for you? How was the car feeling? Did you have to make any changes throughout the runs?
Yeah, we had about a 5th place car most of the night, and then that huge wreck happened, and I slammed into Dave Lanza, and I got a 4X out of it, and I thought I had a bunch of damage, but I went into the pits, and I had none. So I really lucked out. I'm glad it's a video game. You know, I didn't expect to get up there. I thought we were just going to hang out, you know, toward the back of the top 5, but luck again. So definitely getting lucky.
And definitely you were watching CJ Lavere, who's right behind you in points, up there for the majority of the night, but you managed to get that 2nd place when it came down to it. Any sponsors you want to thank?
Hippies Paint Shop, Inside Sim Racing, Derek Spear Designs, you guys at ETV, Bob Earl Racing, and all my teammates at Fearless Racing. Congrats to Jose on the win.
So that's number 24. Stefan Marinac takes home a top 2 finish. Dakota?
And now standing by with our 3rd place finisher tonight, Chad Cole. And Chad, man, you had an interesting night after winning it. You know, Monday night at Charlotte, you come here Thursday, started 2nd, and actually at the end of the race, you know, with that final pit stop, it actually came down to you speeding off of pit road. That might have cost you, you know, a 2nd or a win here. As I mean, you had to run to the field here.
Yeah, I really didn't think I was going to get busted there, having the 2nd to last pit stall, but I did. I saw that little black flag pop up. I was like, oh, geez, it's on. So I ended up being able to dodge a couple wrecks there and actually passed a couple guys. And I got to apologize to CJ Lavere. I ran him over. Entering one there in one of the restarts. I'm not sure if he was trying to get a little gap on the top 2 to set him up on exit or what happened, but I just ran him over, unfortunately.
And Chad, I know several times here tonight where we saw you dodge a bullet going through the grass on the inside. Is that your new signature move at Dover, trying to miss wrecks?
Yeah, I saw those guys sitting on the track up there, so I thought, oh, you know, better play it safe and go all the way to the bottom. And we made it through there. Unfortunately, Bobby Terrell wasn't able to.
Chad, I know you're going to be running Sunday or Monday night. I don't know what I'm talking about. Monday night here, you'll be at Dover with the Generation 6 cars. Can you take what you learned here from these cars and carry it over to those cars and hopefully have a strong run?
I wish you could, but no, those cars are 2 separate beasts. That A car is really a handful to drive, and I'm guessing I haven't turned any laps at Dover yet, but I'm sure it's going to be a real tricky track on Monday.
All right, Chad, well, here's your chance to throw out any shout-outs you may have here.
Yeah, I got to thank Hippies Paint Shop for sponsoring me, and Inside Sim Racing TV as well for sponsoring the Asphalt Assault Thursday night series here. That ETV does a fantastic job of broadcasting.
Well, I thank you, Chad Cole, and that's your 3rd place finisher here tonight, Tim Terry.
And that is your top 3, and what a top 3 it was. And we go from one mile racetrack to another next week, Rockingham Speedway on ETV Live, powered by the HD Radio Network. Once again, Jose Gonzalez goes to victory lane in the 14th round of this series, 3rd win of the season for Jose Gonzalez. That's going to do it for us here this evening on ETV Live, powered by the HD Radio Network. So for Evan Pasoko and Travis Brown on pit road, JD Webb and Laura Lawson in the production hauler, Dakota Ehrman, my name is Tim Terry, saying that we'll see you in 1 week time when we say let's go racing from the rock. Keep the hammer down, and we'll see you at the track.